Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. John, and this is the channel where health and longevity meet. Have you ever felt like anxiety is taking over your life, while those around you seem to not understand what you're going through? What if I told you that the solution might be right inside your own home, with the people who have already lived through decades of challenges and overcame anxieties far greater than we can imagine? In this video, you will discover how the elderly can teach us valuable lessons about facing anxiety with resilience, patience, and, most importantly, wisdom. As you watch, you will not only learn practical strategies for dealing with anxiety but also see how these lessons can strengthen your family bonds. Imagine connecting more deeply with your grandparents or parents, listening to inspiring stories, and applying teachings that have stood the test of time. This video is not just about overcoming anxiety, it's about creating memories that will unite generations and transform lives. So, I ask you, how many times have you felt lost, searching for answers on the internet or in books, without realizing that maybe the answers are right beside you? Stay with me until the end, because today you will discover how the past can bring solutions to the present, while building a more connected and happier future for you and your family. The elderly are true treasure troves of wisdom, carrying experiences that transcend generations. They lived in times when solutions were not a click away, yet they faced challenges that today might seem insurmountable. Have you ever stopped to think that, while you're battling anxiety over a deadline or a social expectation, they faced global crises, economic hardships, and radical changes, often without any support network? Maybe listening to what they have to say is the key to reinterpreting what you are facing right now. One example of this is something as simple as sitting down and listening to your grandfather talk about how he dealt with losing a job or overcame missing a relative during difficult times. This exchange not only enriches the listener but also offers a fresh perspective on how problems can be faced. Imagine that, instead of searching for answers on the internet or in books, you find a real solution in someone's memory who has already been through it. Additionally, there is an emotional connection that only the presence of the elderly can provide. By listening to their stories, we are not just learning, we are also recognizing their value in our lives. This creates a relationship of respect and affection that strengthens family ties. And this exchange, curiously, is where we begin to realize the size of the problem that exists in the disconnection between generations. But why does this happen? We live in a world where the fast-paced rhythm makes us forget something essential: dialogue between generations. Technology has brought us closer to those far away, but paradoxically, it has distanced us from those right next to us. How many times have you seen an elderly person sitting in silence during a family gathering, while everyone else is glued to their screens? This lack of exchange creates an emotional chasm, where both young and old miss the opportunity to understand each other and learn from one another. This disconnection is not just social, it has deep emotional consequences. The elderly may feel isolated, as if their stories and teachings are no longer relevant. On the other hand, the younger generations face challenges like anxiety and insecurity without realizing that they have an experienced mentor within arm's reach. Imagine how many young people could face their fears more serenely if they knew their grandparents had already lived through something similar and came out stronger. The good news is that this problem is not irreversible. It all starts with small initiatives. Simple questions like, how did you deal with difficulties at work, or what helped you stay calm in tough times, can open up a world of possibilities. And by starting this conversation, not only do the elderly feel valued, but the younger generation discovers lessons they would never find in any book. And, understanding this context, it becomes clear how the past can be a source of answers to present challenges. When we look at what the elderly have faced, we realize how history has shaped their way of approaching life. They have lived through economic crises, wars, dictatorships, and technological transformations that changed the world. While today we discuss anxiety generated by social media, they dealt with problems like the uncertainty of getting food the next day or the agonizing wait for a letter in wartime. Each experience shaped in them a unique capacity for resilience and adaptation. Imagine your grandfather telling you how he lived in an era when working hard wasn't a choice, but a necessity to secure the basics. Without the conveniences we have today, they learned to appreciate every small achievement. This historical context explains why, many times, the elderly show a serenity that seems unattainable for today's generations. They know that, no matter how bad the problem is, it's temporary, because they've seen the world change drastically and still kept moving forward. This past is not just inspiring, it's a source of practical lessons. By understanding how these generations overcame adversity with so few resources, we begin to see our own challenges in a new light. Knowing that they overcame such profound difficulties gives us perspective and strength to face our own fears. And it is from this practical wisdom that valuable lessons emerge, lessons that can be applied to our daily lives. One of the most valuable lessons the elderly teach us is the art of accepting what we cannot control. Over the course of their lives, they've learned that not everything can be changed, and spending energy on what's uncontrollable only brings suffering. This wisdom does not come from books or theories but from real experiences, such as facing loss, enduring economic crises, or dealing with illness. This acceptance does not mean passivity, but rather redirecting energy toward what really makes a difference. A simple example can be seen in everyday situations. Imagine a grandmother who, upon receiving a difficult diagnosis, chooses to focus on enjoying moments with her family rather than dwelling on unanswered questions. Or a grandfather who, after years of facing difficulties at work, learned that some closed doors open better paths. These stories show that acceptance is often the key to finding peace amidst chaos. Apply this in your life. Start with small practices. Make a list of what's worrying you and divide it between what you can and cannot control. Involve an elderly person close to you and ask how they dealt with similar challenges. This exchange will not only help you see things more clearly, but also strengthen your bond, showing that each generation has something to learn and teach. After all, acceptance is the first step to truly connecting with those around us. In a world so focused on individualism, the elderly teach us, in a practical and concrete way, the value of human connections. Throughout their lives, they lived during times when community was essential for survival, whether during financial hardships or personal loss. They know that no one is an island, and that when the storm comes, it's family and friends who help us stay strong. This understanding of the importance of unity may hold the key to resolving many of the anxieties we feel today. Think of a grandfather who, when facing a health problem, finds strength in the constant support of his wife and children. Or a grandmother who, despite adversity, always had a network of friends and family to share both joys and sorrows. These simple examples show how human connections are a true pillar of strength. And most importantly, they don't expect something grand, but instead, daily gestures of affection and support, which sustain their inner peace. Apply this in your life. Start with simple acts of connection. Ask an elderly person about their friendships or what family means to them. Create space for honest conversations where each generation shares their experiences, without the rush to solve or judge. Over time, you'll see how these small connections can create a safer and more welcoming environment, capable of combating even the greatest anxieties. After all, true support is never far, it's all around us, waiting to be recognized and valued. The elderly are masters of patience and resilience, two qualities that are often lacking in younger generations. They understand that life doesn't happen at the pace we'd like, and that to achieve what we desire, we must persist through difficulties. When we face an obstacle, it's easy to think of giving up or seeking a quick solution. However, the elderly have a deep understanding that true transformation comes when we remain calm, keep moving forward, and learn from mistakes along the way. Remember how your grandfather may have patiently waited to see the fruits of an investment made years ago. Or how a grandmother, raising children, faced daily challenges with a smile, never losing hope. They didn't see patience as mere waiting, but as an active process of learning and strengthening. This time spent reflecting and acting patiently is, in fact, the key to overcoming even life's greatest challenges. To apply this wisdom, start cultivating patience in your daily life. When a difficult situation arises, don't seek an immediate solution. Breathe, reflect, and trust that time will bring answers. Resilience isn't about being inflexible, but about adapting, learning with each step, and moving forward, stronger every day. This practice, though simple, transforms not only the way we handle difficulties but also how we relate to others, especially the elderly, who have so much to teach us. One of the greatest riches the elderly have to offer is their life stories. Each scar, every battle won, each challenge faced with courage becomes a valuable lesson. By listening to these stories, we're not just learning about the past, but also receiving lessons on how to live with more wisdom and less fear. When an elderly person shares a life experience, they are giving us a map to navigate our own difficulties, in a lighter way and with more confidence. Think about how a simple story from your grandfather about personal overcoming can impact your view of your own problems. Or how that repeated story from your grandmother, about a difficult time she overcame with faith and perseverance, could be exactly what you need to stay calm in moments of crisis. These stories aren't just accounts of the past, they are time-tested formulas for facing life's ups and downs. They teach us that every mistake is a lesson, and every victory is a confirmation that the journey is worth it. To incorporate this wisdom into your life, start listening more attentively to the stories of the elderly around you. Ask about their experiences, about what made them keep going, even in the toughest times. Don't see these stories as mere recollections of the past, but as life manuals, full of teachings that can transform your perspective on adversity. By sharing these stories with future generations, you'll be passing down a precious key for building a stronger, more resilient future. Intergenerational exchange is one of the most powerful ways to strengthen family bonds, especially when it comes to listening to and learning from the elderly. They have a unique view of life, shaped by years of experience, and when these experiences are shared with new generations, something magical happens. A bridge is created between the past and the future, where understanding and respect grow, and family bonds become stronger. This not only increases understanding between generations but also promotes a sense of continuity, where each generation feels it has something valuable to offer and receive. Imagine you're sitting with your grandfather, and in a simple conversation, he begins to tell you about his first job or how he met your grandmother. By hearing these stories, you not only learn more about your family, but also begin to appreciate the roots that shaped you. This process of sharing stories and knowledge creates a bond that goes beyond words, establishing a deep emotional connection between family members. And most importantly, it creates a safe space where everyone feels heard and respected. To cultivate this kind of connection, just start with a genuine conversation. Ask your parents or grandparents what life was like when they were your age. Explore the details, the emotions, and the lessons behind each experience. By opening up this space for exchange, you'll be strengthening your family's foundation and creating a more harmonious and empathetic environment. This continuous exchange between generations, with respect and curiosity, is the secret to uniting family bonds and keeping alive the values that shaped us. Family unity is not just a form of emotional support, but a powerful tool against anxiety, especially for the elderly. They understand that the fear of the unknown, concerns about health and the future, can be overwhelming. However, when the family comes together, the tension diminishes. The sense of belonging and mutual support has a calming effect that cannot be found in any medication. The elderly have the wisdom to understand that, by uniting, they can face any storm together. Without the burden of isolation, anxiety tends to intensify when we are alone with our thoughts, but in a safe and welcoming family environment, things begin to change. Think about how a simple family dinner can calm those incessant thoughts. The elderly have this clear vision. The closeness of loved ones provides an immediate sense of relief. They have learned over time that the support of those around them can be the perfect antidote to life's uncertainties. To use this powerful tool against anxiety, start strengthening the connections with those around you. Create simple moments of unity, like a family walk, a conversation without hurry, or even sharing daily tasks. It's in these moments that you begin to realize how the genuine exchange of affection and attention can reduce stress and create an emotional safety net. The elderly teach us, without words, that unity is the greatest remedy for anxiety, and that together, we are stronger. Now that you understand the importance of the lessons the elderly have to offer, it's time to take action. Transformation begins and you decide to strengthen family ties and create an environment of learning and mutual support. Intergenerational exchange is more than a way to preserve history, it's a vital strategy for dealing with life's emotional challenges, such as anxiety. By giving more attention to the older members of your family, you are creating a support network that transcends any problem. Strengthening the family doesn't require grand gestures. Sometimes, all it takes is a simple conversation, a moment of attentive listening, or even the willingness to learn from the past. If you want to see your family more united, stronger, and with less anxiety, start today. Ask your grandparents, parents, or uncles about their stories and experiences. Propose activities together, or simply spend more time with those you love. These small actions create a big transformation. So, what are you waiting for? Stand up and take the initiative. By strengthening family ties, you not only improve the quality of life for everyone, but you also build a solid foundation for future generations. Let's start now. Seek more moments of unity, more shared stories, and more love in your daily life. Your family deserves this, and so do you.